All right, all right. Let's get to it. Today my guest, he's a true ambassador to the Electric Boogaloos family style dance. He's the CEO of Groovy Gentlemen's Dance Club, and he
CEO.
started his own podcast, BoogTalk. He's a real student of the game, man, and I'm super proud to have him on today's show. So originally out of Vancouver, Canada, but now today he's currently residing out of Tokyo, Japan. I'm
Mhm.
talking about my brother, Jamieson. Welcome to the show, bro.
Thanks for having me, man. I'm so excited. When you hit me up about this, I was like, let's do it.
Okay, now we're gonna dive deep into how you got started, but before we do so, I
Mhm.
want to play a clip here, and I just want you to kind of talk over it and tell me what you remember about
Oh, what's
about
this?
this. All right, so can you see this?
Yep, yeah, I see it.
And I'm gonna play this.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. So this is
I'm gonna lower the volume and go ahead talk over this one.
this is
What
like
is this one?
this is 2015. This is an event called Battle Zone in Nanaimo,
Mm-hmm.
Vancouver Island,
Yeah.
and I was a battle guest, but I was knocked out like on the top 16,
Uh huh.
and this is right after, like
Okay.
we I didn't want to stop dancing, so we just kept
Yeah.
going. And these are
Yeah.
all like my friends and students, and we were just trying to make the most of the dance time.
Yeah.
Wiggles was judging,
Right.
but during the hip hop segment and other categories, he came out and he just joined the cipher.
Mm-hmm.
So there he is on the side, and he gave me some advice. I
Yeah.
can't remember exactly what it was, but in this footage here, I'm like trying to apply it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's all I'm trying to do here.
Man, this is so cool. The reason why also is because is this the first time that you dance in front of wigs?
No, no, I've tried to
Okay.
dance in front of them many times, bro. And
Oh,
actually,
okay.
you know, most of them were like not failed attempts, but like when you get like nervous and
Of
stuff.
course. Of
But
course.
that one, I had just, like I said, I just been knocked out. I felt like nothing to lose.
Okay.
Just had to go. And actually,
Mm.
Wiggles, like side story, whenever Wiggles would come to Vancouver and judge or teach, and we go for like the morning coffee and stuff.
Yeah.
But there were times where he'd teach a private,
Yeah.
and I'd meet up with him before or after,
Yeah.
have a coffee, and the student will come, and we're just like on the corner
Yeah.
of Starbucks, like
Uh-huh.
Davy and Richards, and student comes like, "Oh, hey, what's up, Wiggs?"
Yeah.
And then Wiggs would just look at me and say like, kick his ass. And he'd always have his music with him, and he'd play the music, and he's like, "Go!"
Yeah.
And he'd have us battle
Yeah.
like right there, like 5 rounds.
Man.
And then after that, he's just like, "All right, let's start the private," and he'd just like teach right there, like on the street,
Dude.
you
That's
know.
so awesome.
Yeah.
That is so awesome, man. All right, cool, cool. I just want to show that because dancing in front of any Electric Boogaloo member is hard. So and I think you look like you were pretty comfortable in that clip right there. I don't know how you felt inside, but from the video, you look pretty calm and you look like you were getting down.
I felt good, and yeah, like I said, like Wiggs gave me some good advice, and I was just like trying to apply it. And Wiggs
Hmm.
is like has pushed me so much, like
Yeah,
not just like I think out of all my teachers, like he's the guy like who mentally pushes me.
yeah.
It's not for me. I feel he's taught me less about the movements, but more about like mentality.
Mm,
Even now, like sometimes he appears in my head, and he's like,
yeah,
"Go do it,"
yeah. Yeah, I think I kind of want to jump in a little bit and talk about different teaching styles, right?
Mhm.
After teaching for so long, and even before when I was just trying to learn from different teachers and stuff like that, there are teachers who kind of babies you in a sense that they kind of treat you like a baby, right?
Yeah.
It's all about, oh, you know, you're doing good. Everything you do is fine. It's all good.
Mhm.
I think it might work for some people,
Yeah.
right? But the Boogaloos aren't like that. The Boogaloos are they are authentic. You know,
Yeah.
like you suck, they'll tell you you suck.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And for me, I love that, right? I love it. So
Mm.
you're true. I don't want somebody to, uh, uh, you know, sugarcoat things, right? But again, some people may not be ready. The reason why I mentioned that is because, you know, there are some people who is, oh, you know, this, they might be turned off by it.
Mhm.
But what I'm trying to say is it works, and the people that stuck to it, that have that mindset, like you said before, he pushes you hard, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't sugarcoat things, so you know it really makes you achieve to that high level. So that's what I want to mention, and what I see, and that's why you could tell by the way you dance now. You know, you can battle, right? You can put yourself up there against some of the best out there. Whereas if you, I think if you've been babied by people, like,
Mm.
oh, you know, everything you do is kind of fine, da da da, this and that, you probably won't ever get close to where you are right now. So,
Right. 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 Yeah. It took me a long time. Like I said, like 18 years, and it's kind of like on a day-to-day basis. Like there's some days like I still feel like, oh, I can't do it.
hmm,
And sometimes I need that reminder.
yeah,
But more and more, like it's more about like everything like I've learned through these years is like now it's more coming from me,
mm,
rather than from someone having to tell me.
yeah,
So
yeah,
hopefully that means what people have taught me has been like instilled in me.
yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's start back just a little bit more. Okay, let's
All
start
right,
back.
let's
When
go
did you
back.
first start? Yeah, did you even start with popping or some other style dance?
No, well, man, it can be, we can go like so far back, but I didn't get like, officially started dancing till I was about 2021.
2021.
And
Okay, is
and
that's out of college or right about out of
I
college?
was I was in like I was in college,
Okay.
and I started going to raves and stuff.
Where did you go, by the way?
Sorry?
Where did you go for college?
Oh, I went to Capilano College.
Is that in
It's
Canada or?
in Canada, yeah,
Okay. Okay.
in North Vancouver. And then I
Okay.
went to a trade school. I can't even remember what it was called.
Mm,
CID, no, CDI. It was like a computer networking
got you. So
thing.
I'm assuming there's probably no dance club there at the college, or was there?
No, 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 no. There
Okay.
was no back. This was like 2000, 2001. So, even at that time, there was like cheerleading or like hip hop clubs, maybe, but there was no, it was all girls,
Okay. Okay.
you know.
What about like frat parties and things like that? What kind of dance did you get into at that time? Was there anything you said raves or?
Yeah, yeah, at the raves and at the clubs, at that time, clubs were playing kind of like, it was just at the end of like, they were playing like R. Kelly still, like Jay-Z was really hot that
Okay.
time,
Mm,
you know.
hmm.
So I caught the end of that before like the EDM stuff
Okay.
started to kick in.
Hmm.
Uh, but I didn't really learn how to dance there. It was actually started. I'm a big I play a lot of video games.
Hmm. Hmm.
So before dancing, I was playing a game called Bust a Groove, and
Oh yes.
there's a
Yeah.
character in there named Hiro,
Yeah.
and I was just trying to copy his moves,
Hmm.
um, and I was doing that at the raves,
Ah.
right?
And I
But
think if I
yeah,
remember correctly, he was more of a locker, right? He did a lot of locking moves. Is
exactly.
that
But at
right?
that
Okay.
time, I didn't know what it was called,
Okay.
so I didn't know anything about dance,
Okay.
other than Michael Jackson, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So um, I think I was in class, just
Okay.
working on an assignment, and I watched a clip, I think from Wiggles forum,
Hmm.
and it was or Soulseek or something. Like I found this clip, and all it said was, it was all jarbled letters, the file name.
Yeah.
And it said plant performance.
Okay.
And it's three dudes locking. Like, but I didn't know it was called locking. Like,
okay.
They were doing the video game dance.
Ah, okay.
This is what I was thinking. I'm like,
right.
This is like a real thing.
Yeah.
And I started searching and searching and searching for this. Like, but all I can go by was plant.
Ah, okay.
Thing. There was like a banner at the back called Rhythm Media. So I was trying to, like, it wasn't even Google, it was like Alta Vista or whatever.
Right.
I was like searching
Rhythm
Media. That led me to a dead end, actually. And it wasn't until somehow I found your site. I found newstudios.com, and there were, at that time, there were short clips of Skeet and Sugar Pop.
Yeah.
Was that at your studio? Was that at, where was that?
No, that was a studio. So my story is, fortunately for me, I got to meet Skeet and Pete, right?
Yeah.
So what I did was, I'm like, you know what, people need to see this, right? So that's why I started newstudios.com. I lived outside. I lived in the Bay Area, so they lived in Las Vegas. This is a 9-hour drive or a 1.5-hour flight. Okay, so either way, sometimes I drive there, sometimes I fly there. And when I go there, I'm just like, dude, there's so much information. I need to capture all this stuff, right? And they don't have a studio, so I'm calling around. I'm calling around different places in Las Vegas, and then some places are okay. Yeah, we got space for rent or whatever. I'm like, cool. I'm booking. So sometimes you see us at a different studio here and different. Those are just random studios. I think the first time. Skeet actually had a 24-hour fitness membership. I don't know if it was his membership or somebody else's membership. Anyways, he had access to it. So the first time, I went over there, I filmed. It was at 24-hour or Gold's Gym or one of those.
Yeah. That was the one where he used. Did he use that footage in like The Cure as well?
I think so. Yeah, a lot of these the footages that I filmed. I gave it to him, of course. I gave it to him, right. and then he used it in some of his videos. Maybe The Cure, maybe even the locking one as well.
Yeah,
but
yeah. So Toyman and stuff in the clips. I remember.
Yes. Yeah. That's right. So those are studios that we rented out.
Wow. Yeah. So I found those clips, and it was in one of Sugar Pop's clips. He was like, at the very end, when he was doing it, he would say, "This is locking. This is locking." And I'm like, I found it. It's called Locking.
Yeah. And
right away, I ordered from newstudios.com. I ordered Skeet's Locking VHS tape, right?
Right.
And I think at that time you had a deal. Like, if you order one video, you get half off if you order two.
Is that right? I don't even remember. And I'll tell you the thing about it too is, so what happens is Skeet, Pete, Sugar Pop as well, right? They have their own videos. And the thing is, I was just like a little brother helping them out, because a lot of times they travel, right? So they're like, a lot of people complain they don't get their videos, because they're traveling. Yeah. So I'm like, you know what, dude, I'll kind of do it with you. So the thing is, what I did is I bought like 100 videos from them. I bought it at their discount, and basically it's like, I'm at home, I'll do it. So it's kind of like a little bit of my side job.
Yep.
But it wasn't for the money. I had, I was actually electrical engineer at the time.
Right. You told me that before.
Yeah. So I'm like, I just want to help get the word out, get the videos out and stuff like that. So yeah, that's where the videos were, and I just me kind of helping them out when they're, because they're always gone, right? They're always traveling somewhere, teaching here and there. So Skeet was like, yo man, if you don't get your video in 3 months, I'm sorry, whatever, And I remember, because I also ordered video from Skeet and Pete too. Fortunately for me, I think I got it in about a month, right? Today's standard is pretty bad, but back then it was great. I'm like, dude, I only had to wait a month. Whereas other people, they waited for like 3-4 months. Sometimes they don't get it. So it's kind of unfortunate for them. Yeah.
Yeah. Side story. Like, whenever we got these videos, like my whole crew we'd call each other, and, we'd drive SkyTrain, whatever, to the house, and
Yeah.
you know, we'd all like, I guess you call it unboxing now. You unbox it, put it in, play, and we watch.
Yeah.
And one time we got Pete's tape, and he sent it in. I didn't even open it. I called all the guys. They came over, and we opened it up. And when we opened the box, it was empty.
Wait, was that from me?
No.
Oh, okay.
This is from Pete.
Oh.
This is from Pete. It wasn't the first tapes. It was like later on.
I see.
And it was like we all like stood there and like, damn. And then he called me and apologized.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I've had like those stories too. Like not getting the tapes. So I was saying like, I had to order one tape. I ordered 2 tapes and I didn't know what to order. All I wanted was locking.
Yeah.
And I was looking at Wiggles forms, just trying to look. I didn't know any of the terms, so I seriously randomly chose popping.
Oh.
I chose that tape randomly.
Thinking that it was locking.
No. I had the locking tape. Like I for sure I was gonna get that, but I needed to order one more for the discount.
I see.
I chose popping. You sent them to me. I got them. I put in locking. I'm like, oh my god! Like finally, like I can learn.
Yeah.
This video game dance, right?
Yeah.
And I put in the popping tape, and I thought it was so boring. Actually, the first time I watched it, I was like, oh well, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't until later, like I watched it again, I think, and I was like, I can do it a little bit, like snapping my wrist and stuff. It became interesting.
Ah, okay.
You know? Yeah,
that's really cool.
Yeah, and I just want to say, like right now, like thank you so much for like putting new studios together, like all that, like just getting the word out there. Because if you didn't do that, like I wouldn't be here right now.
Man, that's so cool. You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah,
I
think that's really the key, because I knew there's got to be other people like me that just wants it so much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, yo, I'm just gonna put it out there, man. Those that want to support, that's cool. So I'm really glad that you took it upon yourself and then created a community there too. So tell me, how did you found the guys that are just as interested as you? And here's one of the things, being around this industry or culture for so long, there's a lot of people like us, okay, different parts of the world, different cities and stuff, and we all kind of complain about the same thing almost, like none of my friends wants it, maybe they don't want as much as me or whatever. So to actually get a lot of people together to form, it's challenging, and you got to persevere as well. Okay.
Right.
So maybe if you think back a little bit, right? What kept you going?
What kept me going? I think one of the things was like, it was so interesting to me. Like I was searching, this was a video game dance for me, and I think I love video games so much. And that transition was one element that it had to do with video games. I don't know if you remember my new studio's handle for the longest time was Hiro-kun.
Yeah, when you say Hiro, it brought me back. I'm like, I think, yeah,
and it was like that for a long time until I found out that Hiro was actually like a common name in Japan. And I had to change it. I thought like I had the most unique like dance name, but actually it's just a normal name.
I see.
Yeah, and so the video game thing, and I think it was just learning and doing it. I've always been into like sports as a kid, like growing up, but I always ran away from competition. Like, I had this thing like since I was a kid, like as soon as like lunchtime basketball, like no problem, right? But as soon as it became like a competition, like an official thing, like I couldn't even like inbound the ball, like I would freeze. So, and that was always a thing for me. So when I found this, I was doing it in my garage by myself. I didn't have any of that pressure. You know, it wasn't a
Right.
competition. Like I found this thing for me. I'm like, so I think that element too, right?
Yeah.
And then it was like same thing. It's funny how you brought that up. Like, man, there has to be more people that love this dance,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So I started looking for people around, and I couldn't find anyone. No one knew what it was.
Right.
You know, anybody that,
Especially you are in a college where you said mostly IT people, right?
yeah, well, it wasn't even, I didn't even like bother to look. I don't even remember like asking people in my college. It was just like the Vancouver, the city in general.
I
Like,
see.
you know, I'd go around everywhere I'd go. I'd like, you know, anybody with like a brim hat, you know,
Ah.
I'd go up to them and say, yo, you lock,
Yeah.
yo, you bob. And they'd be like,
Right.
what? Like, you know, even like the Le Chateau hats, you know, like kind
Yeah.
of like funky, but not really. So anybody, and you know, to the point, like seriously, anybody I saw at the club with a hat like that, I go up to them like, yo, you lock, you
Yeah.
pop, you
Yeah.
want to practice in my garage, you know, like
Right.
almost like that.
Yeah.
And my one of my friends later, he was actually a b-boy. I met him in the club like that through
Mm.
that interaction.
Yes.
He thought later he told me, it's like, yo, Jamieson, like I honestly thought you were trying to just pick me up. You were hitting on me and you know trying to get me to your garage and stuff. I'm like, yo, no, I was just, but I was that excited about like
Exactly.
finding people, and I couldn't find anybody, you
Yeah.
know. And it was through New Studios and
Yeah.
Soulseek. You know, I don't know if you remember, you helped us create Vancouver, like a
Yes.
practice forum.
Yes. 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 And
So
I think
like
there's some
that,
other cities somewhere else too.
yeah,
But I
yeah.
think you probably, I don't know if you were the one that got me the idea. Like, look, I know there's other cities doing it, so like, dude, let's just do it. So that's
Yeah.
awesome. That's
And
awesome. Yeah.
that was a hub for all of us in Vancouver. Like anybody um, that I found,
Yeah.
or they somehow found your site, like we'd communicate there and we'd set up
Yeah.
practice there.
Yeah.
So it was. I think that kept me going. You know,
That's
finding
awesome.
those people.
Yeah. So when you told me that, bunch of the homies got together and try to watch Pete's tape, were those all the guys you kind of recruited from different clubs?
Yeah, well, actually, I think maybe like one or two of the guys, like we met at a rave,
Ah.
but for the most part, we met online. We met on
Oh,
Soulseek, we met
I
on New
see.
Studios,
That's dope.
you know, we
That's
mess
cool.
like I'd message on Soulseek like yo, anybody here from Vancouver? Like
Mm-hmm.
almost every day, you know, I'd be on there like messaging,
Man.
asking. And finally one dude replied and he said, yo, I'm not from Vancouver, but I know there's this one guy. He comes on here sometimes. His
Mm.
name's like Asmodee. So I was trying to find him on the list and I
Uh,
messaged him. And you know, later it was me, him, and my cousin that founded our crew, Groovy
nice.
Gentlemen.
Nice. Nice. This
Yeah,
is so good. I kind of want to recap because for anybody that's listening, now or later in the future, this is the gold nuggets that, if you are somebody starting off right now, if you feel like your city doesn't have other dancers, don't give up, right? This is something that Jamieson went through. He's sharing his experience. I went through this as well. A real quick story, I was trying to find dancers before I found the great dancers that, luckily for me, I was the same way, right? I was working as an electrical engineer, so there's nobody around me. And obviously I started with my friends, right? I talked to my friends, hey, you guys, you interested? Da da da. No, we're not interested. Okay, cool. So I went to different local community colleges. I put out
mm,
flyers. Right? Put out, my name, and you cut them up, and then they could rip it, all that stuff,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I think I went to probably 3 different community colleges, uh, and sure enough, a few people will call, but a lot of them that call, they weren't as experienced either,
Mhm.
and I was thinking like, okay, I'm starting off, and again, at this time, it wasn't even popping or dancing, popping or locking. It was just dance, I just want to get
Yeah.
together with people that want to dance. Again, I think I met up with 1 or 2 people at a local Starbucks, and we talked a little bit, and then I say, when you want to practice, and then they tell me, oh, I can't practice here, I can't practice there, da, da, da. So basically, it was a good test for me, right? But nothing came out of it.
Right.
The reason why I share that is for anybody that's listening. I went through struggles. Jamieson went through struggles. You will also go through struggles as well. This is normal stuff, but we didn't quit. So if you don't quit as well, one day, you're going to form your group. And now, Jamieson, can you talk a little bit about you? Because I know you teach now, and that is a good transition. How did you go from, being a student of it, also, and I think you'll agree with me that we're always students, we're always learning as well.
Yeah.
But there's a period that you're like, hey, I know enough now. I want to help people around me, and I want to be a teacher. Tell me a little bit about that.
Man, like I don't know, like maybe it's similar for you. Like, again, when we both started, like our story is like we were trying to find people, and even if we found someone, like they probably knew less than we did.
Yeah.
And it was so rare to, like, I think I found one guy at a rave. I'm like, I saw him doing it, I saw him dancing, I'm like, yo, is that a twisto flex? And he's like, yep. And I'm like, oh, like this guy knows. And then he started getting off, like, and doing it. So that's so rare. But anyways, I started teaching because it was out of necessity, because there was no teacher that I knew of that I could access. There was one guy teaching in Vancouver, but he stopped teaching. And I never got to. It was like I seem to have caught the end of the era of, there were Vancouver poppers, there were lockers, but they all like continued with their lives,
I see.
So it was my cousin, 1 month or 2 months after I started watching your videos. I was always practicing in the garage, and my cousin, I was 21, my cousin must have been 14 or 15 at that time. Like, I see him through the crack in the door, his eye like this. And when I saw him, he like closed it. So I like, what the? And I came up to the door. He's like sitting on the couch, and he's like, Kuya, like, I'm Filipino. Kuya means like older brother, respect.
Yeah.
And he's like, Kuya, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm dancing. I'm practicing dancing. He's like, oh, can you teach me?
Yeah.
He's like really shy. And so I'm like, sure, but I didn't know anything as well, right? I'm like learning from the VHS tapes. So my teaching kind of started almost at the same time.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like I couldn't teach the moves. It was more like I can just practice with him and try to guide him along. I remember the first 3 things I taught him, because I couldn't teach him anything other than that, were like, you have to be on beat. When you dance, you have to like give your full energy. And you have to have fun. Those were like the 3 things, like our rules, and that was it. And again, as our crew grew, like one at a time, had to teach them, not like formally. It wasn't like it wasn't like a paid class or anything. We just come to the garage and we learn. Right. We watch videos together, and I give some pointers or something. Right. We share. And fast forward, I went to Japan in 2004 for about 6 to 8 months, and I taught English, but my main goal was to find Tetsuji. But I was in another totally different like state or prefecture.
I think he's in Osaka, right?
He's in Osaka. I was in Nagoya. I was in Aichi.
I see.
So that's a whole story there, but another story. But when I did meet him, I got to chat with him for about 2 or 3 hours, like after and before his class. And we mentioned it before, but I complained about the Vancouver scene. Like, there's no one knows what popping is. No one knows what locking is. About Japan, like, you got like kids wearing hush puppies, and you got grandmas in your class, like they're all like popping harder than me. Like, that's amazing. Like, and he wasn't upset but he kind of like got into a serious mode, and he kind of told me like, you know, instead of complaining, like who are you waiting for
Yeah.
to show up? Who are you waiting
Yeah.
for in Vancouver to show up to like change all of this, right?
Yeah.
And again, you know, shy kid, freezes at competitions, you
Yeah.
know, like there was no way like I could do that in my mind.
Yeah. Right.
But it wasn't until my plane ride home, like a few
Mm.
months later, it really hit me. Like he's right. Like
Yeah.
if I don't do anything, if my crew does, if we don't do anything,
Yeah.
nothing's gonna happen. It's like
That's right.
on us actually. But like how the heck are we gonna do that?
Right.
And it wasn't until when I came back, Trevor, which is the guy who I started the crew with, he was just starting university,
Okay.
and he met someone at orientation or something, someone who wanted to start a hip hop club and a popping club.
Mm.
And then I had this idea on the plane ride home, like, how can we reach the most people? And it was through, we have to teach or volunteer at universities or colleges. So like it was like that was what do you call it, like serendipity.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything connected, and it was just he came up to me with this idea, thinking like, you know, there's no way he's gonna say yes, or you know, we can't do that. But when he asked me, I'm just like, okay, let's go, let's do it. You know,
Right.
I already knew.
Yeah.
So started teaching at universities. That led to like actually teaching at the biggest dance studio in Vancouver. You know, that was a whole other step. I think like 2 years later after that, and that's really how it started. Again, it was out of necessity. I didn't really think like, you know, I'm gonna in the future I'm gonna have a teaching career.
Right.
You know, or if you know, like say like you know, Junior Boogaloo, or you know, anybody like with more knowledge than us, if they were still around, like I wouldn't be teaching. You know, that's my mindset. Is like, you know, I had to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's so great. And I, you know, again, for those that are listening now or future, if you're in that situation, if you find yourself, and again, I guarantee there's people out there, all parts of the world, thinking what we thought, right? And Tetsu gave you a great advice, a great reality check, right? Get out of that victim mentality and take control. Be the boss. Be your own boss, right? Why can't you lead it, right? Don't always coattail off of somebody. This is your chance. This is your opportunity, right? Take this opportunity to build your city, to build your block, and make your name. You know, so I'm so proud that you did that, and of course, you know, seeing all the progress you've made so far, it's incredible. It's you know, makes me proud to you know, have a little part of your history. So it's awesome. Thank you for that, man.
Thank you, Siege. I owe so much to you, honestly.
Well, you know, it's so funny when people hear us. This is actually the first time we're, you know, chatting voice to voice. You know, we communicated through emails and forums and things like that before, but this is really cool. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to switch this up a little bit. We're going to make a fun part of the interview. Okay. I'm going to call this this or that. This is just something that, you know, you're going to pick either this or that, and you're going to, if you want to, you can justify why you pick one or another, or you don't have to. There's no right or wrong answer in this situation. So let me bring this up real quick.
Okay.
And you should be able to see it shortly.
Okay, I see it.
This or that, and let's start. Again, this or that, there are no wrong answers. Here we go. Text or phone call?
Oh, man. Well, I first think text, but actually I enjoy the phone call.
Right. Yeah, text is quick, right? There's certain situation text is better. But phone call, you got to hear the tone, right? If it's a joke or something like that.
Yeah, I always hesitate these days with the phone call. You know, I always jump into text, but then once I get into the conversation, it's like nothing beats a conversation like that.
Exactly. All right. Shop online or shop in store?
Oh man, I always shop online these days, but
These days, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I miss like, going to like Blockbuster or like, just going to the video game store and like looking at all the boxes and
Yeah,
stuff.
you mentioned Blockbuster. Man, is there? I hear there's only one Blockbuster in the world now.
Oh, serious? It
Like
closed down like so
I think
long.
it's in Alaska, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's like
Right? Because
out
everything
there.
is either Netflix or Hulu or something. You could rent it online, right?
Yeah.
Even video games too, right? So
Yep.
interesting, interesting. All right, moving forward. Car or truck?
Oh, can I say Jeep?
Jeep? Oh, is Jeep
Yeah.
considered? I think is that its own name?
I don't know.
Jeep is a brand, right? Jeep is a brand, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess it would be like like a truck.
Yeah. But yeah, you know what? I never had anybody say Jeep, but that's cool. All right. Toilet paper over or under?
Oh, over.
Over. Yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Meat or veggie?
Meat. I'd like to
Meat.
balance though these days. Try to attempt
Mm.
to.
Yeah. I think we need balance, right? I think for a
Yeah.
while, I kind of got into the idea that I gotta be vegan or vegetarian or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's just too hard for me. I think mentally it's too hard, and also financially, right? It's meat's just everywhere, dude. So
Yeah, especially right now in Japan, like every restaurant has meat in it. Every broth has meat in it. There's
mm,
not too many vegan or, vegetarian choices.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
balance, bro.
Speaking of Japan, I gotta try that. Was that the Wagyu? Is that the Japanese,
Oh, Wagyu beef?
like the really expensive meat?
Yeah,
Have you tried that?
yeah.
Is
It's
it really that
good.
good?
It's good, man. If you
How
like,
much is it though? Like it's like really expensive, isn't it?
I don't know off the top of my head, but it's pretty expensive.
Like if it's considering US dollar, like a meal, would it be like in the hundreds? For sure in the hundreds, I think, right?
Yeah, let me look that up actually, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no problem. Because watching some of the cooking shows, they always talk about the Japanese Wagyu. It's kind of like the gold standard
Right.
of beef.
Let's see, 200, just looking it up really quick, like 200 grams is about 55 bucks.
What is shoot grams? We're in the
Grams, damn.
imperial
200, what is it, ounces you use?
ounces or pounds. So
Oh,
I think
pounds.
two
It's like
point two
half a
ounces a pound, right?
200 grams to pounds. Forgot all my high school stuff.
I know.
It's about 0.44
0.4
pounds.
pound.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so half a pound for $50. So 1 pound would be close to $100.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
It's
But it
good.
must be good, man. It must be good. I got to try that one time.
Yeah, try it once.
Yeah.
Got to.
All right, let's move forward, and we have air or water.
Water.
Water. Be like water, my friend.
Yeah, I recently found out like how much I enjoy being around water.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
just like even dipping my feet in it.
Speaking of which, this is just reminding me because you're in Japan and everything. There was a guy named Emoto. Have you heard of Dr. Emoto's water experiment?
No.
Yeah, that's something I have to share with you. It's really, really cool. Emoto, Emoto. Anybody that's hearing it right now, do a search, do a Google search or a YouTube search for Dr. Emoto, Emoto water experiment. Something really, really cool about it.
I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah, and I'm gonna share, my story with you later. But
Sure.
that's yeah. Okay, moving forward. This is more so like when you're driving or working out. Okay, you listen to music or you listen to podcasts.
Funk music.
Funk music all the
Yeah,
time, 24/7, huh?
yeah. I listen to podcasts when I like wash the dishes or
Oh,
like
okay.
winding down.
Yeah,
something like or on my commute sometimes.
yeah.
Like on the train. I mean, like or
Right,
walking.
right. Yeah, yeah, exactly. On your commute. This is for me, driving, uh I heard this terminology. I heard it as driving university, right? Uh
Mm,
so this is where I learn, different stuff. There's so many cool podcasts. Speaking of which, your BoogTalk, we gotta mention that so anybody can search it, right? It's
yep.
available. Is it on available on iTunes as well?
It's not on iTunes right now. It's on mainly Spotify and a couple of, I think, like Google Podcasts,
Okay.
Breaker,
Okay.
Anchor.
All right. So people can search for that. It's called Boog, BOOG Talk, all one word. Boog Talk. Search for that. And yeah, check it out, everybody. All right. Next one, we have blue or red.
Blue,
Blue. All right. Facebook or Instagram.
Instagram.
Instagram. Pancake or waffle.
Oh man, I never thought about this. I'll say waffle.
Now, do they have, is that pretty big in Japan, pancake or waffles?
It's a very like how do I say, like when they do pancakes or waffles here, it's like fancy.
Oh.
There's no plain like waffle or pancake here. It's all like decked out with like cream and strawberries and
Mm,
you know
mm.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Not just the simple and
No,
okay. All right. In Sync or Backstreet Boys?
uh, In Sync.
In Sync.
I used to watch a lot of In Sync actually before I was dancing.
Oh,
I
the dancing from In Sync.
Yeah, well, no, before I was like dancing, I was watching In Sync, and I remember watching their live performances like on
Mm-hmm.
some tape,
Mm-hmm.
and I always thought how crazy it was that they could sing live and dance so hard. They were always dancing full out,
Mm-hmm.
but they never sounded tired,
Yeah,
you know. I
yeah,
always respected them for
yeah. All
that.
right. Iced coffee or hot coffee?
Right now, iced coffee. I just had some.
Mm. Taco or burrito?
Taco.
Taco. Strength or flexibility?
Sometimes I feel like I don't have either. Man, flexibility.
Flexibility. Yeah,
Flexibility.
yeah. A motorcycle or bicycle?
I'll say bicycle. I've never ridden a motorcycle before.
Oh,
Yeah.
is now where you live now? Are there more bicycles than motorcycles?
Oh yeah. Like here, bicycles are probably the most used like transportation
That's cool.
because everybody has a bike and it's like there's like standard like a locking mechanism system. Like
Mm-hmm.
bike parking is like out of this world here. Like
Mm.
yeah, they have it really set up.
So as far as again, for those that don't know, I think you're in Tokyo, right?
Hmm.
So when you're in Tokyo, do you see like every family, do they at least have a bicycle or a car? Are there more bikes than cars or vice versa?
I would say, like a family living in a house, they have at least one car, and they
Mm-hmm.
have like four bicycles.
Mm, every
Almost,
every
all,
member has bicycle.
yeah, and I think for sure every mother
Mm.
has a electric bike.
It's like a moped or
No, it's seriously like a bicycle
with the motor.
with a huge battery on it.
Oh, wow.
And
That's cool.
dude, if you look up like Japanese bicycles,
Mm-hmm.
like it's crazy, and they have like the baby seats and the baskets. Everything's like so like well
That's
thought out.
nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's
So
a
I'm
different
assuming
world
those are
here.
like rechargeable, right?
Yeah,
Ah, yeah, that's cool.
that's big.
Very cool. All right. Money or free time?
Oh, free time.
Free time. Gotta
Free
value
time.
that. Horror or comedy?
Comedy. Comedy. I get
Yeah.
so many nightmares from watching
What,
horror.
what's the last one that just really got you?
Really, the man, it's gonna sound so stupid, but it's the original Omen. I don't know if you've watched.
Oh, oh,
It's like from
wait.
like the 70s or something.
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah. The
kid,
really old one.
Damien, and the 666 in his tattooed on his head.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that really freaked me out. Like,
That's like the same era as The Exorcist, right?
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah, because The
yeah,
Exorcist, that one kind of got me too.
yeah. There's a part where they're trying to find the kid's real mother,
Mm,
and they tracked her grave all the way to like some crazy looking place,
hmm.
and they opened the coffin, and it was like an animal.
So that scene got you.
That scene got me, and I think I had nightmares for like 4 months after that.
Now, how old were you when do you remember how old you were when you saw that?
Yeah, man, I was like, it must have been like 18 or something.
It
I
still
wasn't
got
a
you.
kid. I wasn't a
Ah,
kid. I never watched horror movies when I was a kid, but
ah.
I think there was a point I was trying to train myself to get used to horror movies, and I'd watch it. I'd watch The Ring in like
Yeah.
broad in the afternoon, with all the
Mm,
lights on, the windows
hmm,
open, everything, and
hmm.
no, didn't work. Comedy.
All right, no horror. All right.
I can play horror video games,
Oh,
but
that's scary, bro.
yeah,
That's scary. Yeah, a lot of people on Twitch are doing that shit, dude.
yeah, Dead by Daylight. It's like,
Oh man, yeah, yeah, yeah. Cause you got the sound, you got the soundtrack. It's like you're slowly creeping, and then the
yeah,
volume just blasts at you. Yeah, I mean they'll jump.
atmosphere, everything.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's move forward.
Okay.
Cardio or weights?
Cardio.
Cardio. Jackson 5 or New Edition?
Ooh, I like them all, but of course
Yeah.
Jackson 5.
Right.
A New
Right.
Edition had like Candy Girl and Mr.
Mm,
Telephone Man. Like, I
mm.
remember watching those music videos like over and over again.
Yeah. Yeah. I got to tell you, I mean, of course, Jackson 5, but the New Edition, I remember. I'm a little bit older than you, but I remember in elementary school when New Edition came out with their "Cool It Now," and
Yeah,
and oh man, like I the whole school was just like, cool it now, and they just kept playing it. Of course, somebody has a cassette tape, and back then the way we would record is we would take somebody's cassette tape and we have a recorder and just
yeah,
put it right next to each other and record it. So it was a dub of a dub of a dub.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
but yeah, cool it now.
Yeah. Did you do like the whole like Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike?
Mike, I love the kid. Yeah,
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 yeah, for
yeah.
sure, for sure. Yeah,
Wow.
very, very cool. All right, day or night?
Uh, night, night.
Night. Yeah.
Yeah, I like to say I'm a night person, but I'm trying to
Okay.
become more of a morning person.
Uber or Lyft?
Man, honestly, we don't have Uber. We've never had Uber or Lyft in Vancouver.
Oh,
So
oh, okay.
I'd
How
say
about
Uber.
in
Uber.
in Tokyo as well?
I don't even know. We have
Mm.
for sure there's no, I think there's just Uber Eats.
Yeah, it makes sense because everybody has their own bicycle. So,
Yep. And
uh,
taxis here, like taxi people in Tokyo are like the kindest people you'll ever meet.
wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's very different than some of the experiences in Canada and in America for sure.
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. So again, for visitors, if you're visiting Tokyo, your Uber, your Lyft is not available there. Is that what you're saying? Or
Yeah, I'm like 99% certain
wow,
because
wow.
I think that might even be it might be a culture thing too, like
Mm,
to get picked up by a stranger.
I see.
you know,
I
and
see.
those kind of formalities, like
Yeah.
culture formalities, like I don't know,
Yeah.
people would be shy.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Soup or sandwich?
Oh, soup.
Yeah. I don't know if you know Win from Taiwan, the
Win.
the locker.
Yes, I I can't form a picture in my mind, but I've heard the name and I'm sure I've seen him
Yeah. So
before.
I did an interview with him, and then he's like, soup, of course, because in Taiwan, there's really no sandwiches, right? Like
Oh, really?
sandwich is not an
A
Asian
thing.
thing. It's
Yeah.
more of a like a Western invention, you know. So
Mm.
I didn't realize until I asked him. He's like, soup, what sandwich? You know, I was like,
Yeah,
oh
yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
interesting. All right, dine in or delivery?
Dine in. These days, of course, like delivery.
Now, how's the whole COVID situation in Japan right now? Are the restaurants locked down, or it's okay still to dine in?
So it's just like it's funny because actually they just announced like before this time we're recording this interview
hmm
um, that Japan is entering another lockdown, at least in
Oh,
Tokyo, because the
oh,
cases are
are
rising here.
rising again. I see.
They're about like I think 700 to 900 a day right now in Tokyo.
I
Um,
see.
considering I heard that number is pretty low,
Yeah,
considering there's like about 14 million people in the
yeah,
city alone or the
yeah,
prefecture. But yeah, it is getting worse. The thing is,
yeah.
though, you know, the lockdown system here, the
hmm
government can't actually enforce a hard lockdown
Okay,
like in some countries. So they can only suggest
I see. I
you
see.
close.
So if you really, really want to, and if you're a restaurant owner, you could still open up your restaurant and let people in.
Yes, and
Mm,
people are still dining out. Just everyone's wearing masks, and of
I
course,
see.
there's like separation.
Yeah, yeah,
But it's so different here, bro. Like from what I hear in North America,
yeah,
like I think if people in North America saw how social distancing works here,
yeah.
I think they'd be like thinking there is no social distancing here.
Mm,
You know,
mm. Is it just because everybody's really good at about wearing their mask, or
I think 99.9% of people wear masks here, and I think originally, like before COVID, like people already like socially distanced themselves. You
right,
know,
right.
and people don't really shake hands or hug here.
Mm,
Everything's with a bow.
I see.
And
I,
but it's crazy. Like even when there was a lockdown, like there before, trains are just as packed.
wow, yeah, that's right. I
You know,
remember the trains there. I remember visiting there, and I remember how squished it was.
yeah,
So I mean, that's not social distancing at all. You're like you're touching the person. There's no 6 feet. It's just
yeah. No, no,
right.
no, no. Within that 6 feet, there's like so many people between
Yeah.
in that distance.
And that's amazing because even with that, there's only 700 people. Like if you just compare the numbers to what California is facing,
Yeah,
uh, yeah, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy
yeah.
how our numbers are still so tremendously high.
I'm not exactly sure why. Like, because I feel like we should be social distancing more,
Right,
but yeah, people are just kind of going about their day.
right, right.
Yeah,
And but that's still amazing how the number is still so much lower than ours. And I hear about Taiwan, right? Taiwan is still very packed too. Taiwan and Tokyo, Taipei and Tokyo, just so many people there.
yeah.
And
Taiwan is
but it's
good to go, right? Like
yeah, they're like no case. Or the last I heard is like zero case.
yeah, I saw footage of like some dance friends there. They're all like getting down in cipher and like high fiving and stuff. I was like,
Yeah,
damn, like I miss those times.
yeah, yeah. It's been damn almost a year for us here, right?
Yeah.
Back in March, and even now today, it's worse than ever. So I don't know when it's going to happen for us, but yeah, I might have to go to Taiwan.
Yeah. Let's stay safe, right?
Yeah, yeah. All right, let's move forward. Basketball or football?
Oh, basketball.
Yeah, it's kind of. I should take this question out for people who don't live in the U.S. because there's no football outside of the U.S. pretty much.
Well, there was in Canada. There's a CFL.
Oh,
I
okay.
was for some reason in the '90s. I was watching like every sport like
Hmm.
religiously, and
So did
I got
yeah.
into CFL football. I watched NFL and I couldn't get it, but
Mm,
CFL has a simpler, I think, rule system, like
uh,
slightly, and that got me into football.
oh, okay. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
but
yeah. I didn't even know CFL was there.
yeah,
All right,
basketball since I was like 3.
right, right.
Yeah,
All right. Rhythm or balance?
rhythm, rhythm.
Rhythm. iOS or Android?
I gotta say Android.
Android. Yeah. What do you what phone are you using right now?
I'm on a Mi 910 or 910 9T Pro.
Me. Is that the Xiaomi?
Xiaomi, yeah. It's
Oh,
like it's like for half the price of a iPhone. I think you get the same
right.
features or more, and you can
Yeah.
customize things. I can
Very
just plug
cool.
in my phone and drop music in there. I don't know if iTunes can do that. I don't need iTunes or any program. It's like,
Very cool.
yeah,
Very cool. Mayo or mustard?
mayo,
Mayo.
mayo.
Salsa or bachata?
Wow, honestly, I don't even know what bachata is.
Oh, okay.
What is it?
It's if I were to describe it, it's kind of like salsa, um, but I don't want to say it's slower, but
Mm,
a little bit. I think a little bit easier to pick up. I think in general, when
like
people,
thicker?
huh?
Like thicker?
No, I think the moves are just a little
Oh,
bit.
dance. Wait, you're talking about dance. I thought you were talking about food.
Oh no 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 no!
Like, what does bachata taste like?
Oh no, no no no! Yeah 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 yeah. It's another dance style, um, and it's gosh, it's very similar to salsa,
I
but
gotta look it up. I
yeah
gotta
yeah
look it
yeah.
up.
Look it up. It's. I mean, they're both very 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 sexy,
Yeah,
because both of them you dance with partners,
yeah.
um, but real cool. But both of them are real cool.
What do you like? What would you, or this or that for you?
Yeah, for me, man, this or that. Yeah, yeah. All of these questions, it's either one way or depending on the situation.
Yeah.
Um, if I were to really, really pick, have to lean towards bachata.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to lean towards that just a little bit. I think it's in general, it's a little bit slower.
Mm,
Not all the time, not all the time, right? In general, it's a little bit slower. So I think most people will enjoy it just a little bit more. But again, I could make the same argument for the other side too if I really, really want to
yeah.
argue it. So,
I
but
remember you just made me remember now. Like I took like I think 3 months of salsa lessons before I found locking,
mm,
and then it was fun. And
hmm.
I must have looked like a robot for sure.
That's a cool robot in salsa, man. You're gonna have to create one.
Default.
It's cool. All right, peanut butter or Nutella?
Oh, um, man, it's so hard. I'm gonna have to go with peanut butter
Yeah,
because that's what I have more.
more.
But Nutella
Okay.
is so good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nutella. I remember Nutella on waffle.
Oh,
Straight out, right when it's
yeah,
warm, and it's just like, oh, so good.
banana Nutella crepe.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one. All right, let's go with Tupac or Biggie.
Tupac.
Tupac. Uh,
Tupac.
Vancouver. You're still considered the West Coast as well. So.
Yeah, like I don't know, like that would be cool, but at the same time, like our culture is so different. Like
Hmm.
we're so far. I feel like we're for most people, we're so far away from like West Coast culture, you know, like.
Mm-hmm.
But man, yeah,
I do remember I visited Vancouver years ago. I had a cousin that lived in Seattle.
Hmm.
So, do you consider Vancouver and Seattle like sisters? You know, like really close?
Yeah, man, they're so similar in
Hmm.
terms of like a weather and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Um, yeah,
Do you
because
visit Seattle a lot? Like I get the impression that people in Seattle always go to Vancouver and vice versa.
yeah, you know, if we're thinking like, oh, let's do like a little road trip or a day trip,
Hmm.
you know, Seattle's like on the list usually, like the spot. And
Is
then
that like a 1 hour drive or
it's about a 2 hour drive
okay,
from Vancouver.
okay.
Yeah, 2 hours if there's no traffic. It's more
Hmm.
usually like 2.5
Mm,
hours.
hmm, hmm.
And there's some really dope poppers out there. They're called Groove
Mm,
Clan, and of course, Massive Monkeys is out there. Yeah, so
man,
we'd always check out their competitions and stuff. And
nice.
yeah,
All right, moving forward. Break-in or beat street?
I'd have to go with Electro Rock and say Breaking. Electro
Electro
Rock.
rock. Yeah. Sammy Davis Jr. or the Nicholas brothers?
Sammy. Sammy is like one of my biggest inspirations, like
Yeah.
in entertainment. Of
Yeah.
course, you know, Nicholas Brothers too. But
Right, right. I mean, you know, when I see this, it's almost unfair because you have two brothers against one, right? So
yeah,
of course, but of course, and I don't know if you saw Sammy Davis Jr.'s I don't know if it's in Netflix or one of the documentary about him. So after I saw that, you know, my
Hmm.
the inspiration I got from him just magnified even more, right?
Yeah,
So that's why I was like, maybe they're similar, but I don't know if for people that didn't really watch Sammy Davis Jr.'s documentary, maybe it's really easy to lean towards that side. So I'm glad you chose Sammy Davis Jr.
yeah. He's like seriously, he's outside of like popping. Like he's such a huge. He's played such a huge impact somehow. Just
You
like
know,
how you carry yourself and everything. You know, I
yeah,
not that I can do it like that, but
yeah,
it's inspiring.
yeah, and I think I don't know if Wiggles said this, but I know he said something like this. He says, even tappers were breaking before the breakers. And I
Mhm.
think, I don't know if he meant Sammy Davis Jr.'s, but I saw a clip of Sammy like head spinning and he was doing swipes. He
Yeah,
was
yeah,
doing, right? And
yeah,
he was doing that, when this must be, when is it, the 30s, the 50s? I
yeah.
don't know when it is, but definitely before the 70s.
And he was doing it hard.
He was doing it hard, bro. Like freaking amazing, amazing stuff. So again, huge props to this guy.
Yep.
All
So,
right. Passenger or driver?
driver, driver. I haven't driven a car in like two, almost 2 years now.
Do you miss it or no?
I I don't miss traffic, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
I miss listening to music in the car. You know, I
Mm,
miss singing in the car. I
mm-hmm.
realize like that's the only time like I really like sing. I
Ah,
haven't sang in like 2 years, you know.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You can't really like sing around the house here because you know everyone, the whole neighborhood's gonna hear you.
Is that right?
Yeah, I can hear like a neighbor like practicing like I think like two houses down. It's
Wow,
it's really bad. But
wow.
yeah, yeah,
So like a noise canceling headset is really important there then.
yep. This is noise canceling. Yeah,
Wow. Okay.
yeah. Driver. Wow, I miss driving for sure.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
here in Asia, like it's reverse, right? So the roads, like the
Oh,
side of
uh-huh.
the
Yeah, on the other side. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
so that's why I haven't been driving. But you know, thinking if not knowing if how much longer I'll be here, like if we'll stay longer because of COVID, like I
Hmm.
might have to,
So
learn how to
you
drive.
so your Canadian driver's license, is that international? Can you go anywhere or did you have to get another license to drive in Japan?
I don't even have a license here, but I heard for Canadians, like I just have to apply
I
and
see.
I can get it like fairly easy compared
Like,
to how Japanese, if I'm Japanese of Japanese citizenship, like you have to go through this whole rigorous process to get a license.
so you just have to apply. You don't have to actually take a physical driving test or written test and all that stuff.
I don't know all the details, but I think I heard from other friends like you pretty much apply and
And you
I
get
don't know,
it.
they trust like Canadian drivers or something and you
Okay.
get it.
Well, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
All
It's
right.
hard though, bro. Like even just crossing the street feels dangerous like when you're first here because you automatically look, you check
The wrong
what,
side. Yeah, the other
yeah, I
side.
always look here and like, I have to like check 4 times to make sure like even,
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. All right. Funny or smart?
oh, I like to say funny.
Yeah.
Gotta laugh.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Prince or Michael?
Ooh. Oh man.
Tough one, man. Tough one.
If I can choose right now, and my wife will kill me, but I'll say Prince.
Oh, she's a huge Michael fan, huh?
Yeah, but I'm a huge Michael fan too, and
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but Prince just has that more like
hmm
adult, like raw funk
Yeah.
power
Yeah.
aura,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
And yeah,
For
that's
sure.
like what I'm about. Like that's what I
hmm
strive for, right? It's like
Yep.
raw cut.
Yep.
Yep,
All right. Moving forward. Dog or a cat?
dog,
Dog. All right.
dog.
Bro, we are done with the set, man. You did
Oh,
awesome.
I made it. I made it.
the the answers, they were awesome. Thank you for going into details with them. It was a lot of fun, bro.
Yeah, it was fun. It's hard questions sometimes. Those this and that.
Hmm.
I want to choose both.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, we got a YouTuber, Shubhan. What's up, buddy? How you guys doing? Jumping in on our interview. So real quick, again, this is with my boy Jamieson.
What's
Groovy
up, Sean?
Gentlemen's, Groovy Gentlemen's, man, for sure. Bro, thank you so much, man. I had a lot of fun. Now,
Yeah,
one of the things that I kind of want to do is let people know, or how can people reach you if they have
right.
any questions, and especially for you, because you're teaching also, right? You're teaching. Are you teaching in Japan right now?
No, well, I'm working uh, as a dance teacher, but I'm not more like a more on the admin side, the management side. So to be honest, like I'm not teaching popping. I haven't taught a popping class, like a regular popping class in like 2 or 3 years. So it's crazy. It's like taking out I realize how much of how much teaching has it's just a huge part of my life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I really miss the live popping classes, the book
Yeah.
stuff. But you can
Yeah.
reach me on Instagram
Okay.
at Groovy Dance Club.
Let me see.
Okay,
Wait,
so
is
I'm.
is, is this one good?
Oh
This
yeah, that's
actually, this
more
is your.
like that's my personal one. You can find me there too. But if you're looking for like dance content,
Hmm.
I post everything on Groovy Dance Club. If you want to see like dogs and random stuff, go to my personal one.
You're right,
But
right. Cool, cool.
check out at Groovy G Dance Club. Like I'm
Right
trying to
there.
post there like every day,
Okay,
you know. So
cool. Yeah,
yeah.
bro. So you mentioned that there's a chance that you might be coming back to Vancouver. What is that? What does that involve?
So our original plan was we've been here now 2 years, and we were gonna come back, thinking to come back around like fall 2021, like this
Hmm.
year actually. Um, but with COVID happening and stuff, it's
Yeah,
so unpredictable.
yeah,
Um, right now, like, family wise, we're okay. We still have our jobs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So depending on that situation, like in Vancouver, will it be, can we find work, even, and
Yeah.
how stable can we
Right.
get our life going, after 3 years.
Right.
So we're kind of just waiting out and seeing,
Okay.
how things will play out.
Okay.
Man, miss Vancouver. I love Tokyo. I miss um, the freedom
Yeah.
of dancing,
Yeah.
outside, in nature.
Yeah.
You can blast music outside. Nobody will. People just walk by that even dance with you.
Mm-hmm.
Like here, they'll go like this. No, no music.
Wow. Wow, man.
Yeah.
Well, man, it's such a pleasure chatting with you, brother. I definitely hope we could do this more often. I do want to pick your brain, not just with your history, but also a lot of the dance concepts,
Hmm.
um, teaching concepts,
Hmm.
concepts in life in general, right? One of the things I always say when I say something about teaching is when you're learning as a dancer, first be a likable person, be a cool person, right? If you just learn to be a great dancer, but inside if you're an asshole, it doesn't matter. Be a
Yep.
cool person first, right? And then if you become a great dancer, that just makes you that much better, right? More and more people will like you. uh, you know just because you're a great dancer, not necessarily people may praise you for your dance skills, but once they find out that you're a jerk or an asshole inside, they're gonna get away from you, right? Nobody
Yeah.
really, really, truly likes negative people unless they're
Yeah.
negative themselves. But once they turn positive, they don't want to be with you anyways.
Right.
So stay
Right.
positive, work on yourselves. The dance will come. Okay, the dance will come. And guys like Jamieson and myself, we love teaching, and I tell you, I love teaching positive people. If you're a negative person, I would say work on your negativity first and then come back to us. When you're positive, we would love to work with you guys.
Yes.
Anything to add to that, brother?
Oh man, yeah. It's such a shame when there is such a, high level skilled dancer, and you find out the other side. It's,
Yes.
you wanna dance together.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta leave it at dance,
Right.
but sometimes you can't. Sometimes you just have to really, can't be around them, right? Because it,
Right.
it starts to
Right.
affect you and people around you.
Right. Right.
But dance is so connected to how we live life. So, you know, I
Yeah.
don't know if it's a saying, dance, life is dance, dance is life. They're
Mm-hmm.
they're so connected.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing this dance for life, as a lifestyle, as much as like eating or breathing, it's just something you do when music comes on.
Yeah.
Like everything you do connects to dance.
Yep.
So be good. Be generous, and
Yes.
you know share.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Good. 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 Man, once again, my brother, thank you so much for taking your time to spend with me and sharing your dance history, sharing your knowledge. I really, really appreciate that. For sure, I'm gonna hit you up again. And let's do this again you know when a few months comes around, and definitely keep me updated as to where you're gonna be and whatever comes up. I'm for sure following your podcast, and everybody else do the same and hit up Jameson if you have any questions that you have for him. Okay.
Thank you, Siege. Man, thank you
All
for having me. I can't believe I'm here with you.
right. Man, awesome, awesome.
Crazy.
Love it, love it. All right, guys, we are done for today, and thank you for joining us. See you guys next time. We out.